Shawn Clark, offensive lineman, coming up next. Shawn into the house. Shawn, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. Talk about your football experience. I understand you've kind of worked your way into the position you're in now, starting offensive lineman.
Right.
How'd all that come about?
Well, I'm not a very big person, obviously.
Right. You're lean.
So around my junior year, our starting tight end he was senior, he moved, so we had to move the starting tackle over. And so that's how I got that spot right there.
Got the spot now all the way into the starting lineup this year. All the way to the starting lineup so far
up,
this year, yeah. What does this 8-0 start meant to you guys?
It means a lot. I mean, at first we didn't, when I first heard it, I had to process it a little bit. It's like, it's not the same as winning it yourself. I would have much rather just win it myself.
Sure. But it feels good, though, to be an unbeaten team. Yeah.
If it's by technicality, I don't care. It's a win.
Yeah. What about the big game last week against High Point Central? Talk about what you did during that game and what the team was able to do to get that big win. Because that game and the Reagan game, to me, seemed like two of the maybe the wilder, more exciting wins you guys have probably had.
Well, we got up early in the game. People kind of simmered down a bit, I think, which was a bad thing. We should not have done that at all. And we had to step it up a bit there at the end. That fumble was what really helped us. To what made it happen.
Who knocked it out? I wonder. Who?
Christian Dix, right over there.
Christian Dix knocked it out. Gotcha. So we've had a couple of guys on your team. Mark Murphy had the big play against Reagan, and Christian Dix knocks it out last week and pretty much strips Jermaine Pratt.
Oh yeah.
And taking care of business against one of the better players in the area, Jermaine Pratt, it shows like team effort can lead to some very good results. Talk about how you got where you are today. I mean, all the work you had to probably work very hard the off season to get where you are today too in that sort of lineup.
Oh yeah. I have to work I have to work out a lot. I'm not big. I don't build muscle very well, so I gotta.
It's probably one of those things that maybe in about 10 or 15 years it'll all of a sudden just jump on your frame, I would think.
Oh yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'4".
6'4". What do you weigh?
About 205.
That's not too bad. There's some build. Not necessarily the big size of maybe the Sugg brothers. They're fairly large, but
they're big.
Yeah.
I'm definitely the smallest lineman yet.
Does it help going against the bigger guys like in practice? Make you a tougher player? Make you maybe not tougher, but maybe a more resilient, more lasting player?
I would say being the smaller guys, they definitely like try and to make me buck them down a bit. It's helped a lot.
That's good. Give us your position again so we kind of envision where you are along that offensive line.
I'm right next to I'm to the left of our tight end. If we just do the blocking, whatever the play calls to do, the strong side.
Gotcha. Now, how long did it take you some people will play their entire life and then they work hard. Like you said, if you get there this last year, you finally get that starting position. Feeling a satisfaction there after all that hard work, to finally see those results pay off?
Oh, my senior year?
Yeah, it has to be.
It's very rewarding. It's very satisfying.
What's been the biggest win you think for you guys this year? You've had some good ones.
I say the biggest win has to be the High Point Central game because that was a tough game.
Plus, the Reagan win was big, but the Central game a conference game too.
It was probably the hardest game that we played.
Who do you think your chief rival is these days? Top rival?
In the conference or overall?
I'd say overall.
Gotta say Northern.
Okay. How about conference-wise?
East or South has been traditionally. And the High Point Central game was big since we lost them last year. They beat East Forsyth, so I got to bump things up a bit.
Tell us how this team has improved over last year, because you guys have progressively gotten better and better every year under Coach Woodruff.
We've all kind of came together. I'm gonna be honest. Last year we had a lot of all about me type players. We don't have any of those guys now. It's all about the team. It's
kind of good when you get that right chemistry, but it kind of comes together.
We're not especially big team, I would say, but we all come together. We all do things right. That's how we win.
Who's the toughest guy you've probably gone up against over the years, either on your team or on another team? Is there one guy that stands out? It was really a tough opponent guy. I was tough time blocking this guy. He put me on my back a few times.
Not anyone that particularly stands out. I mean, I've had guys that are maybe 50 pounds over me. I blocked them.
You guys played Grimsley, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, because I know at least on their offensive line, they've got some real big guys.
Oh yeah, I had to go against a real fast kid.
Who's your position coach?
Coach Ole and Coach Frazier.
What have you learned from those guys over the past couple of years about the offensive line work?
They really made me the player that I've been today. Those two guys are what stands out most in my mind. They've taught me how to do things right, as opposed to when I was maybe middle school and I'd basically didn't know what I was doing basically.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because in sports, so many times, even I remember being a baseball player as a kid. Sometimes these sports, even basketball, in some cases, it's good to get a coach who shows you what you're doing. Because if you're just doing what you think you're supposed to do, you don't learn a darn thing.
Oh, before I came to high school, I had really mediocre coaches. I would say didn't learn a lot. And when I came here, this is where I really developed all my character and all that, who I am.
Kind of became your own person and a better player at the same time. Who do you think's the team leader on Northwest Guilford?
I say we don't have a team leader.
It's kind of a team effort then.
It's a team effort.
So nobody really.
No individuals.
That's pretty good. That's like you said earlier. That's been the difference in the team this year.
Right.
What do you see in Glenn as you get ready to do your job tomorrow night? What do you see in these Glenn Bobcats?
They're a good team. They're not. They have potential to be a good team, I would say. Woodard had a good analogy is like people in the military. A 10-year-old kid with an AK can kill you just as easily as a trained special forces guy.
Exactly. Yeah, I was jogging down the road this morning. I got an idea in my head. I saw this kid. I guess he goes to Grimsley. I kind of run through a Grimsley neighborhood. That is fatigues on it. I guess ROTC guy maybe. And I'm thinking about games. The difference in so many games sometimes seems to be the tactical errors that teams make. The teams that don't make mistakes, don't make the errors, that are disciplined and in control and doing systematic type football are the teams usually win more games.
Right.
And you learn that from your coaches too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we did. When things go wrong, we don't yell at each other. We talk to each other. We make sure we know what we're doing.
Yeah, and how did the coaches correct you after a tough game, maybe the week before you get back in there Monday? What kind of?
We watch film and stuff like that. After every series, I go to Coach Oley and ask him, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do better?
So much better to do this, almost like a classroom session. If you sit in the back and just kind of take notes and don't ask any questions about what's going on, and don't learn as much, in that case, ask the coach, he'll tell you.
Right.
And some coaches use the other approach. They'll use the hard effort, kind of the old branding iron type effort, kind of beat you in the head and learn it like that, which I guess ways are good, but I think your way probably you absorb more knowledge in the long run.
Definitely.
What about in the classroom, Northwest Guilford? You got a favorite teacher or somebody you think maybe the best teacher at Northwest from your standpoint?
My German teacher is probably my favorite teacher I've had.
Is this your first year of German?
No, it's my fourth. I'm an AP German.
Wow. Fourth year of German.
Right.
Man, that's good stuff. That's something, people would say, wow, but if you learn that, there's a lot of discipline involved in that too.
Oh, it's a hard language. It's definitely
I don't know anything about it, but just thinking about a foreign language and taking it 4 years, and a foreign language that's, to us is, Spanish is not quite as foreign to us as it used to be years ago because it's so much more around our area. But you think about German, not much German spoken around here, but gosh.
Oh, no.
How will you, we look at that sometimes too. Kids who took Spanish in high school probably are able to use that to some degree. A lot of them try to talk Spanish around some Hispanic people. Sometimes they'll laugh at us because of our way we approach the language, how we mess up in life. What about German? How can you see yourself maybe using that one day?
I've always wanted to go to a German-speaking country like Germany maybe, or someplace like that.
And just to visit? Or?
Just to visit,
yeah.
In particular.
What's the vocation look like down the road? You're taking 4 years of German, and that's AP placement classes too. I would think maybe going on to college, you should be ready to step right in and pick up some more good things there.
I don't think I'm going to take it in college, I don't think.
What do you think you'll do though in college?
I'm going to try a major in criminal justice.
Good stuff. Any colleges in mind you may want to attend?
Really, I've been applying everywhere. Most schools have criminal justice. So.
Will you take kind of the basic stuff going in, or dig right into it in the very beginning?
Probably take basic stuff and then get deeper and deeper with most majors.
Do you look at yourself? You talk about going to Germany to visit. Do you look at yourself going to college, maybe traveling away from home, a far area, or maybe staying close to home?
I've stayed relatively, not like in Greensboro. But
so you don't go to Guilford then?
No.
I know they got some forensic criminal studies up there now. I think at Guilford.
Yeah, they do. Most colleges have that as like a minor.
That's a pretty good thing now too. It probably attracts a lot of more. Everybody seems to be into that to stay in time.
Especially with how they use it nowadays with the
DNA all the way, right?
Oh yeah.
A lot of research, a lot of studies. Who's your favorite college football team?
The UNC.
Yeah. Okay.
It hurts to say because they haven't been doing too well, but
1-5, but still.
You gotta stick with your team.
What about professional team? Got a favorite pro team?
Panthers. Yeah. Carolina.
Looking forward to the game tonight. Maybe another win.
Oh yeah.
Do you watch them on Sundays? Kind of hunker down around the couch or around the sofa, kind of take all the games in Sunday afternoon? Is that kind of regular routine?
I'm not much of a. I don't really watch like TV football that much. I'd rather go to a game myself.
Like to be there in person then?
Yeah.
Do you go to some Panther games? Been to some of
I've
those?
been to one.
Yeah.
I go to a lot of UNC games.
You hit the college on Saturday? Mm-hmm. Now this week they've got Boston College, I guess,
Oh yeah.
at home. Do you think you'll be going to that one?
Maybe. I've been talking about it. But
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. We talked about the German class. Would that be probably with the favorite teacher probably too, teaching that class?
yes.
Who's the teacher for that class again?
Call her Frau Bay.
I got you. So we have to make sure we get all that straight. Shawn Clark with us again from Northwest Guilford, offensive lineman. The Vikings got big game tomorrow night going against the Glen Bobcats, and that will be on the road for you tomorrow night too as well.
Correct.
Tougher on the road, I mean, than would be at home. How do you see the difference being?
Our home games are definitely more intense and up there because we have a really strong fan base.
Got a good student section for basketball last year. I had my little chart I was keeping on my website about the students. You guys have one of the best. That game last year, we had the Northern game. I was there for that one and there for the Southwest game. That Northwest student section, like you say, really gets behind their teams.
They really support us a lot, and I'm really thankful that we have that.
Do they travel well?
Most places, I would say. Like Northern games, they travel and big games like that.
What do you learn from, you talked about your position coaches. What about Coach Woodruff again as a whole? What has he done as far as building the foundation of his team? What have you learned from him as a head coach?
As a head coach, I've learned a lot, I'd say. Not necessarily football and like general, but in life in general. I coached with youth football with him.
That's right, because you coach at Stokesdale, right?
Right.
Gotcha. He mentioned that. Somebody mentioned that to me. For those youth teams, so you help out. Do you get a chance to work with the kids, different positions and stuff like that?
I'm one of the lineman coaches.
That's fun stuff, isn't it?
Right.
How do you work that into your busy high school schedule and your busy practice schedule?
I practice and I immediately go to practice again.
Where's the practice for the Stokesdale team?
It's in the same field.
At your place?
Right. It makes things easier.
Flipping around right quick? Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Coach Woodruff told me a little bit about that team. That team has really done well since they've been building the past couple of years. You guys like in that Rockingham County Conference with some very good teams up there too, I guess.
We didn't do too well this year. We were very young, very inexperienced. I had one kid, it was a good story. He was out on the field. He told me, he came off the line, he was like, Coach, I thought we were on defense. And no, we're on offense, son.
What position did he play?
He was
a lineman?
Lineman.
Yeah. Sometimes you get some interesting stories coming through that right there.
Oh, yeah.
Do you see yourself maybe if you don't stray too far away from home for college, maybe helping a coach again next year, maybe in the future?
Maybe, I would say so.
Yeah.
My dad coaches there too.
Oh, your dad's involved also.
He needed my help because he was new, and I knew all the plays.
Your dad needed your help. That's a pretty good thing to say, huh?
Yeah.
They kind of show him the ropes because most of the plays that they run with Stokesdale, do you guys run similar plays with Northwest?
I would say they're generally the same, yes.
Yeah, that's good. And build the system at the bottom level and work it on up.
Same with the middle school.
And what about, you got Stokesdale, you got Oak Ridge, you got Colfax and Summerfield. Do you get kids from the other areas too, or just mainly Stokesdale, or is it just open?
We get kids from, we pick up kids that don't make it the middle school teams.
Those are good kids because those kids are going to be trying harder anyway. Get some good effort from those kids.
After getting cut as a 7th grader.
Yeah, you don't want to call these kids the cast-offs, but these are the players that come off these teams that didn't have a chance to make the original team. And those are, man, there's always going to be a handful of those kids that may turn out to be even better than the kids that were considered better than them that made the school team.
Yeah, most middle schools have like a quota for like 7th graders. You can't really.
Gotcha. Mainly 8th graders, just a few 7th graders. What do you think your favorite color is?
Favorite color?
Yeah.
My favorite color is black and red.
Black and red all the way. Do you have a preference between the two?
Nah, black and then red.
I know a lot of people. Yeah, I think a lot of people really love that black color these days, the bold, dark color. I'm a red man myself too because of NC State, but that's a different story there because you like Carolina, so we don't get involved in that. But that's a big game coming up soon too. Look forward to those games. What about the overall situation? What would it be like for you to be practicing football on Thanksgiving? I asked the guys that tonight. That's one of the questions of the night. Just kind of visualize that practicing Thanksgiving morning football.
I would love it.
Yeah.
Do something that I love that much and get to be watched by so many people.
Yeah, but get to come together with your teammates on that morning and just be unreal.
An important holiday like that.
Yeah,
Give thanks.
And everything that means that you guys are that much closer to some of the goals you set to to be practicing that late. What's been the biggest play for you so far this year? The biggest play you've been involved in?
I've been involved in, not involved in very many plays being a lineman.
I was wondering about that. I was going to ask Coach Woodruff about that sometime. I was watching a game yesterday over at Jamison Stadium, a middle school game. I think it was Aycock versus Kaiser. That's it fits pretty well, Kaiser or whatever. Anyway, watching the game, I'm thinking, wonder how the parents watch an offensive lineman who's in the game. What do they watch for? I was trying to put myself in a position because I used to play some offensive line. I said, man, what they were looking at back then?
I think my dad, he watches for if I'm doing things right, if I'm getting blown off the ball or not.
Getting the correct stance and the timing's right. Did you actually get off the ball on time and not being maybe a step or two late getting off the ball?
We having the right footwork. And
any big plays though this season? Something that maybe catches your attention?
The biggest play, I like that fumble by Christian Dix a lot.
That was the one where
That was last game.
That was last week when he punched it out?
Yeah.
Covered it in the end zone for a touchback?
That was intense, I'd say.
What was the reaction like by the team after that happened?
I was on the sideline because it was defense. And I saw everyone just jump up and.
How many seconds left in the game when that happened?
Say it was a minute and 30 seconds.
Minute
left.
30. So you really couldn't have to get together for a big team celebration, so let it play another 30 minutes.
No, we just kneeled the ball down a bit.
Gotcha.
Kind of let it run.
Listen, good job on your part tonight.
Thank you.
You've got the Glen Bobcats tomorrow night. You've got more football down the road. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Stick with your dad. Teach him some more football.